Hello and welcome to Queerprenuers Unleashed. I'm your host, Dustyn Baulkham. My pronouns are he, him. And I'm excited to have a good friend of mine, Coleman, here today. Coleman.
Hey guys, I'm Coleman Patterson. My pronouns are also he, him. And I'm also very excited to be here today.
Awesome. Thanks so much. Let's start off with talking a bit about how you identify.
I guess I identify as a gay man.
Yeah. How long have you been out for?
So I'm almost 43, and I came out when I was 18.
So it's been a few years.
So that's a lot of math.
Yeah.
I don't know. It was like a while.
Well, and you've had, kind of two main careers, right?
Yeah.
So hair was 20-some years.
Yes.
And
to almost 20 years to the day of
Was that what it was?
graduating hair school. Like,
Amazing.
It's pretty crazy.
Yeah. I imagine in that industry being gay is almost expected.
Yeah, I actually, oddly enough, went into that industry because I knew it was a safe space. Because
Right.
this is like 2002,
Okay.
so it's a while ago,
Yeah.
and the world was a little bit different of a place.
Okay. And then, so, fast forward, obviously, a year and a bit ago, you transitioned careers into something very different.
Extremely different worlds. I was so fortunate in my previous career. Like, I've done all sorts of things all over. I had my own business. I worked for myself. I was in an unfortunate little parking lot fender bender, and I've now got permanent nerve damage in my arm. So I had to get creative and mix two things together.
Right.
Also very fortunate to have clients that owned a car dealership. So thanks to the Speckman family, which was awesome. And it was a way for me to combine two things I really enjoy. I have a huge passion for automobiles.
Yeah.
And I really like talking to people and not sitting. So it was kind of the perfect combination for
Right.
me.
Let's talk a bit about being a gay male and going into the auto industry, because I think, it's very hetero male dominated.
Yes, it definitely was an interesting transition. I've learned a lot of things, and I feel fortunate. Starting at Kelowna Chevy was really nice because, as we know, we have a partnership with you.
Yeah.
I know I was kind of instrumental in that.
Yes,
but
you were.
It wasn't all just about that. It was really about immersing myself into a different world.
Right.
And there was like a learning curve for everyone.
Totally.
Because I had to adapt. They had to adapt. Jason and I had a really funny conversation the other day. And he said managing me was like managing no other person. Not in a bad way. He's like, there's not really anyone else that I met like me. So...
Well, and gay or straight, I'm sure there's not a ton of people that jump from, working in hair to working in a car dealership.
Yeah, beauty industry to the automobile industry
Yeah.
is an interesting transition. Interestingly enough, a lot of things apply in both worlds.
Well, sales is sales, right?
Sales is sales.
And relationship building is relationship building. It's just you're selling a different product.
Yeah. You are, at the end of the day, no matter what you're selling, you're the product. I'm the product.
Right.
It's my relationship that I cultivate with my clients.
Yeah.
I don't like to refer to people buying cars or leasing cars from me as customers.
Okay.
They're my clients.
Fair.
And I'm not a salesperson. I'm here to facilitate a purchase.
Okay.
So it's a different way of looking at the sales and marketing industry for auto sales. And this is a transition that is not just happening with me. It's the whole industry.
Right.
So as we see things evolve and change.
So if someone was saying, watching this, and obviously we talk with entrepreneurs, how would you explain car sales being entrepreneurial?
So, yes, people just walk in, but you are required to do your own marketing. You should have social media. It's not a thing that in the Okanagan is quite as huge as it is in other bigger metropolitan cities where you're up against, 7 dealerships that are the exact same brand as
Right.
you. So what sets you apart as a sales specialist or whatever. I work for BMW now, so BMW or mini specialist within your dealership, but you still have to cultivate that relationship, and it's all commissions. So if you don't have a person sitting in front of you, you're basically volunteering today.
Well, and I think that's the thing, right? Because there's so many different industries where, yes, you might rep a brand in essence, whether it's real estate or cars are probably the two big ones, but you still have to be entrepreneurial in how you do it. Because I know before you started there, I really didn't see, granted I don't have any other friends that work really in the industry, but I didn't see a lot on the social media sphere of like what was actually going on until you started posting.
No, and this is another thing that I'm really enjoying as I immerse myself more and more in this industry is the humanizing of everybody in a dealership, because we're all just people there. Like, I know there's this sort of like sleazy cars salesman thing, and I believe that was a thing. Totally. I just don't think it's really a thing anymore. Or if it is still, it's transitioning away.
Well, and again, that's kind of the old school way of doing it. So there's probably dealerships out there that do it, but they're probably not the ones that are still growing like other ones are.
And I was very fortunate to jump into a store in an auto group that's progressively moving forwards, and then to be recruited to another brand, which I personally truly already loved. So that made it a lot easier. I have had a few cars in my time. And it was just really nice to see this evolution moving forwards, to show like our dealership is a safe space.
Right.
You shouldn't be scared to come in. Anything you really need to know about buying a vehicle, you can now find online.
True.
And that's sort of the big shift, I think, that's changed the industry. Is before you were sort of at the mercy of the knowledge of the person in the store.
Right.
Now you literally can Google anything and it's all there, full disclosure, right down to like lease rates. Right. So it's a little bit different. And personally for me, it's nice. So this is where I feel like I'm not selling you anything. The vehicle sells itself. You came in to look at a car. What car do you want the most? And let's get you that car. That's really all it is for me.
Do you find very often at all that people come in looking for something very specific, and then after they chat with you, they consider something else?
Sometimes it's, I like to go through the sort of the consultation process, and this is where my beauty industry background is coming in very handy, because like there's no off day in a hair salon.
Right.
Like, I can't like go, oh, I'm just having the worst day. So your haircut's mediocre, but here's still the same price. Yeah. Right. So it's the same consultation process. If I don't really know who you are, I don't know what you're using your vehicle for in a day-to-day life, because your A to B and my A to B are different. I know you use your vehicle in a completely different way from me. And it requires, like, I have a 2-seater. I have a dog and a spouse. That's it. No one goes in the back seat of my car. I did briefly have a Suburban, and no one used the back of it. So
my luggage was in there once.
Yes. Dustyn's luggage was in there once. I shuttled a couple things around in it, but no people sat back there. So for me to have a 2-seater car is fine. For you, you are literally moving a room of equipment sometimes to events, performers, drag queens. That requires a lot of space.
Yes, they do.
I've seen you unload Ella's kits.
Ella's gotten good, because now there's sometimes we'll go to Kamloops and I have like 4 performers. So it's like, Ella in the front, 2 in the middle, and 1 in the back, and then I still got to fit a luggage in, which thankfully with the Suburban I can do that. So worst case I have a little hitch, but
it's the taking the time to get to know who's sitting in front of you.
Right.
And for me, I find the best time to do that is actually on the demo drive.
Okay.
So I'm going to get some initial information from you, but it's also reading the person and what they ask you when they walk through the door, because they say there's 4, purchase processes. I feel like actually it's like 12, because there's a lot of different personalities and different combinations of personalities. So we need to handle everybody in a different way.
And what, going from beauty to automotive, what would you say was the biggest challenge you faced?
Verbiage, definitely for me. Like in the hair salon, like everyone kind of wants that sassy, gay man hairdresser. Right. You can be a little more cheeky or snarky, Conversations are happy. Yeah, bitchy.
You can swear on here. It's fine.
Yeah, ha, ha, ha. Conversations in a hair salon, or at least the ones I've worked in, it's like really fun. So like, it's not just me and my client. Yes, we can have that one-on-one.
Yeah.
But sometimes there's a more fun conversation happening over there, and everybody's in on it. So let's all get in on it. Let's all have fun. Whereas, you know, it's not my job to interject into the next salesperson beside me's conversation, even though I may have something helpful. I had to like learn that it's not my place.
Yeah, bite your tongue
to just interject.
Right,
which was really difficult for me at first.
I could see
like
that
talking. So,
and well, let's talk a bit more about going into a very heteronormative environment and what some of that's been like.
Yeah, I mean, it's not negative. It's just different. So I've learned a lot of fun things, you know, professional and non-professional. But
as with any work environment, really.
Yeah, that's all the work environments. I've also not really worked in a corporate environment before. So yes, a car dealership is fun, and yes, we're all jovial and walking around. But at the end of the day, you know, it's a bigger brand, and there's things we have to abide by. There's rules.
Sure.
You know, General Motors as a corporation has a diversity program, which was really nice to see when I first started.
Yeah.
BMW Group also celebrates diversity between all three of their brands, which is Rolls-Royce, BMW, and Mini. All falls under the BMW Group umbrella, as well as their Motorrad and Motorsports. So there's like, it's huge at the end of the day.
Right. Just pretty much any of the automotive groups, they're all massive.
Yeah, they are massive. It's just, for me, it's been really nice, not only social media wise, as a company, you can literally access, like, there's like BMW Group Careers, there's BMW Group Culture. There's a whole social media platform just dedicated to the culture of the brand. Okay. And each sort of group is its own culture.
Right.
But at the end of the day, they're celebrating diversity within everyone. Yeah. So at first, when I'm going into this world, I was like, oh. And then as soon as I started to see these things, I was like, oh, it's there.
Right.
Even though maybe in the Okanagan, where there's a lesser demographic of people, I'm sure I'm not the only gay male car salesperson in the valley. I don't know personally another one, but that doesn't mean there isn't one.
True.
I definitely know in the acronym, at both places where I've worked, it wasn't just me.
Right.
So there are others within the dealership.
Right.
Or, you know, family members or spouses or kids, or like, it's a whole diverse group, which has been awesome to be part of.
How would you say that your queer identity or gay identity has shaped how you are in the automotive industry?
I definitely would say at first I was being a more reserved version of myself.
Okay.
Not because of fear that I was going to be like attacked or something. I just was like testing the waters.
Right.
Like, how far can I go? How, you know, I'm blind and deaf people know I'm gay. Like, it's my sort of joke. Like, there's no, if you had to like measure like a volume of gayness, like, it's turned all the way down at work and it's still up. So, you know, it is what it is, and I'm not for everybody, and that's also okay.
And
like,
I think
might not
straight
be
people, same thing, right?
Yeah.
It's like,
yes, there are definitely, I've encountered more so, I'll tell a story. You know, I was probably 6 months into Chevy, and, you know, I told a story about, you know, someone yelled something at me out of their truck and blah, 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 and everyone's like, I just never seen anything like that. I don't understand. And then I'm sitting with my manager, a gentleman walks in, and he looks at me and just says, no, and walks away and goes to the reception desk and ends up sitting with another salesperson.
Wow.
And my manager, Joel, was shocked, and like, he didn't know what to say.
Right.
And he was like, he's like, why is that? He's like, was that because, I was like, it's because I'm gay.
Yeah.
And he was like noticeably angered because he didn't know what to do.
Right.
So like he wanted to go over there and kick him out of the dealership, which
course.
obviously you can't do. You know, the irony of it all is this gentleman was not able to get anything. He was kind of just kicking tires and wasting time. And I ended up, the next person I greeted bought a car for me that day.
There you go.
So it is what it is, and you
Yeah.
got to roll with it. And I think for me, the advantage of being in my 40s and experiencing the 90s and 2000s
Right.
and remembering before gay marriage was legal and remembering Pride being banned in Kelowna
Yeah.
and, you know, all of that other stuff.
Turned up some old.
I'm just like, yeah, it's just like another day in the life of being a gay person in the valley.
Yeah.
You know, no big deal. And it shifted everything at work because
Okay.
he then went to the other managers and told them what happened.
Right.
And then they had a managers meeting about it.
Okay.
And then they were like, we have to now, they were cognizantly aware that this is still a thing.
Well, yeah.
They didn't understand. They didn't understand why we needed Pride to still be a thing. They didn't
Right.
understand. And through attending Pride, sponsoring Pride, going to the festival, like, I think the whole sales and management team was at the drag competition from Chevy.
They were
This
yeah.
year. I was
Yeah.
very fortunate. I was able to finagle a little booth for my new sales team. And again, I brought 10 more people from that group.
Right.
And through that, now more people from BMW and Mini want to participate.
Right. Well, it's interesting because this is our second Chevy, right? The first one was obviously the Tahoe that looked a bit like a cop car.
Yes,
with the
very
way I got it
handy.
jackaled. But, and it's interesting because now that I think about it, I don't think we had anyone like give us the finger while we were driving it. But in the Suburban, I've had 3 or 4 times now, or I've actually had someone like go out of their way to give us there. One was driving from between Calgary and Edmonton. Another was
Shocking.
driving into Kamloops. And the most recent one was Thanksgiving weekend, and we were driving back from Castlegar, and I passed a guy in the single lane, and he like slowed down, opened his window, and gave us the finger. And it's interesting sometimes because was it a week or so ago? I was driving to actually down here, and there were some young kids who saw the vehicle, and you could just they just lit up,
Yeah.
right? And they were like so excited. And then like 2 days ago, I was driving down here, and there's a group of concrete truck drivers that were sitting there waiting to, dump their loads at a construction site. I know.
No pun intended.
I had to say that. I thought you'd like it. But they just were just stunned as I drove by. And then of course I got caught at the stoplight. So they all just stared at the vehicle, 3 of them, and you could see them talking about it.
Yeah.
And so it's sometimes it's a little unnerving.
I bet.
Because obviously it's also a very obvious vehicle. And actually at one of the recent protests, I was followed afterwards in it. So I pulled into Redbird and because I knew it was a safe space. But
Yeah,
so I
it's
have had that.
I don't know if you guys haven't seen it. It's like a giant
Very gay.
rainbow unicorn covered Suburban, and
Yeah.
a Suburban is a big vehicle. I did
She's a
temporarily
tank.
have one as a demo vehicle. Ironically, mine was all black, and I have because I was hit in a parking lot, I have sort of this phobia. So I have basically fluorescent green winter coat that kind of looks like a police jacket. And so I'd be driving it all the time, and it took me a while to realize people were always moving out of the way, and it was because they thought I was a RCMP officer because of, I think, my jacket and driving an unmarked solid black giant SUV.
Yeah.
And then as soon as I stopped wearing my jacket because it wasn't winter anymore, that stopped happening. I was like, oh, they think I'm a cop.
Totally.
So they're being well behaved. Because I was like, why am I driving so slow? Kelowna Chevy's sponsorship into Pride was the first time that had ever happened, ever.
Yeah. First dealership with Kelowna Pride.
First, that's wild.
Yeah.
I'm working on it. So, last year I started there in April, so it was Pride was right there.
Yeah,
and
it was
I kind of had already all set up on the other side, and that was a thing I'm so proud of too. Yes, I left, and that didn't fall away. If anything, I feel like they're even more on board than before.
Oh, totally. I mean, because I know, you know, I managed to get them to put the sticker in the window, like the rainbow sticker and those kind of pieces. Because now that I sell that stuff, I just literally took it to them. I said, you know, you guys should have one. They're like, oh, absolutely. They literally took it off, slapped it on. Like there wasn't a moment of hesitation. And even, you know, I was wondering that when you left, like, would that change at all? Because obviously you were instrumental in it. And it was a no-brainer. Like there wasn't a moment of hesitation with Jason or any of the staff there. It's like, what do you want?
I knew.
I didn't
wholeheartedly.
think it was,
I knew that wouldn't happen.
Yeah.
They wouldn't have done it in the first place.
Right.
Don't think of a dealership too as like it's just an encompassing thing. It's like businesses within a business.
Right.
Because service is its own business, parts is its own business, sales is its own business, and then there's the financial office, which is, you know, your
leasing,
financial services, which is like warranties and all that other stuff.
Yeah.
You know, not as exciting, but that encompasses a thing. And then within that dealership is in an auto group, which within that is under a brand. It's like, it's so many layers.
And just so massive.
And it's like, yeah, I'm just like the guy that shows you the car.
Right.
Or truck or SUV or whatever.
Yeah.
It's, you know, we don't decide bank rates and we don't decide all these things.
No, totally.
And neither does the person in the business office.
No, they're the one just telling you what it is.
Yeah,
here's your options.
We're all just relaying most of the time positive news,
of course,
sometimes bad news. And it's a lot. It's a lot because, you know, emotions are high. People don't like those big bills.
Yeah.
And we're sort of the second biggest purchase you make other than a house.
Yeah.
You know, is a car.
And people need them. Like, not everyone. Obviously, there's ways to get around without owning a car. But for a lot of us, and especially these communities, it is crucial to our life.
Yeah.
So, and money's always emotional. I mean, I used to work in the bank, as you know, and you know, you see it from all aspects, whether it's marriage, divorce, death, a house purchase, a vehicle, like you see it all.
Yeah.
And, you know, you sometimes turn into a counselor in those sessions. And I'm sure you experience that a lot, especially in the hair chair.
100% counseling. You know, and that's another thing too, to learn how to like not take on someone's stuff.
Right.
So that has been a little more tricky. I've definitely been yelled at more in a car dealership. And usually it's not anything to do with me.
Right.
It'll be like, you know, about something silly that's not whatever. And, you know, it's an emotional time. People are very emotional right now with everything. So, but in a hair salon, like, you don't yell at your hairstylist. They literally have scissors to the side of your head. So, and not that we would stab them, but like, yeah, you don't want to like.
So steering it back to the entrepreneurial side of the business. No, don't be. How do you approach marketing and trying to reach out to, say, queer audiences?
So for me right now, my biggest platform I would definitely say is Instagram.
Mm-hmm.
I really try to like separate post platform on Facebook. It's definitely hitting a different age group demographic.
Yeah.
Also, the least amount of engagement I find happens on Facebook now.
Okay.
So that also participating in a community events. I really enjoy doing that. Showing up to the different things that you host, like the mixers and all of those. Right. I know I didn't come to a lot of those this year, but again,
didn't have a lot this year.
I built myself a clientele at Chevy, and I was finally at that point, and then I, you know, was offered opportunity and left.
Right.
And so I now basically started from square one after 1 year, and now I'm doing that again. And but now I'm doing it with the knowledge from doing it once before. So it's been easier to attract that clientele. So
how long has it been since you switched dealerships?
I started on April 1st.
Okay.
I seem to do big life changes in April. I don't know what that means, but going back through Facebook memories, it's very easy to track these things.
True.
And it seems
April
to always
1st,
be around that time.
Interesting.
Maybe it's the comedian in me. But yeah, like the dealership is a safe place. Like, I want you to keep coming back. I want
of course.
you to service your car at our store. I want you to feel like comfortable if there's an issue to give me a call.
Yeah.
So I like to market it as like I'm your sort of concierge to the dealership.
Okay.
I may not be able to answer all of your questions, especially when it comes to the technical side of, repair
Yeah.
or, tire compounds. I've been asked some wild questions, but I can usually get the answer.
Sure.
Or I can have the person who knows the answer give you a call.
Well, I'd say the concierge, you're facilitating those different pieces.
So, and that's what the sales team is at a dealership. We are the face. Like, Ian always used to joke, like, you're a performer. And he's like, there's certain people that are good at sales because they can perform and adapt to their environment and adapt to the person that's sitting in front of them.
Okay.
Because not everyone is capable of adjusting their personality.
Right.
Coleman sells BMW Mini on all social media platforms. Follow along for the silliness.
And your Apple profile too.
Yeah, it's in my Apple it's in all the things. I've definitely branded myself.
You have.
I'm very fortunate to, and anyone that wants to go into any sort of anything, whether it be the beauty industry, sales, whatever, you are your product. At the end of the day, you are the one that's building the relationships with these people. And so be yourself on social media. Don't be this version of who you think you should be.
Right.
Just be yourself. Because people want to know you. They don't want to know pretend version of you.
Yeah. Authentic.
Don't tell them all your deepest, darkest secrets, but be yourself.
It's true. Authenticity is huge.
Yeah.
People can see through that.
They can. I think for me too, I unintentionally cannot be anybody but authentically myself. Dustyn has known me for a very long time and has definitely seen me evolve and grow as a person.
Well, same with me.
Yes.
Right? But it goes both ways.
But, it's all just part of life. And it's okay to stumble.
Absolutely.
And it's okay to have a bad day.
Yeah.
It's just how you deal with the bad day the next day.
Yes. Well, and that's, you have to pull yourself out of those funks because, same with our industry and the pandemic, right? We got throttled. So, and I mean, we're still coming out of it.
Here
Like
we
with
are
all the
4
debt
years later, and somehow we're accidentally talking about it. Sorry,
well, I mean, it's never ending, right? Like this whole Unicorns Live was born out of it. Yeah. So there's a lot of good that came out of it too. Just not necessarily on the financial statement.
No, and this is a thing too. We all have to realize that, especially if you're going to be in sales of any kind, we're really seeing a lot of people are cognizantly aware of spending.
Right.
So yes, we all like to joke about girl math, but also or gay man math or whatever math,
something G math.
But if you think about it, you're not just justifying a purchase. You're sort of being aware of usage. Am I actually going to use this a lot of times? And maybe is it more beneficial for me to spend a little bit extra on the thing that I know I'm going to keep and use longer? Yes, we can justify the price away to $0 if we really, really want to. I'm very good at that. Don't take me shopping with you. I will tell you to buy it. If I see someone hold something or sit in a car, and this is the thing I love the most. If you sit in a car with someone and they start the car, whether it's electric or gas or a performance car or literally a commuter car, if they like the car, you can see it on their face.
Yeah.
They smile and they'll look in the mirror and they'll look at themselves in the rearview mirror and they'll adjust their mirror and they'll take a second and get comfortable. And if I don't see that, I know already we're not sitting in the right car.
Right.
But I can't just tell you that. We've got to go through the process together. And it's the same with hair. It all applies.
Yeah, I still get that moment when sometimes I get in the Suburban, just like as the seat's pulling forward and I hear the diesel engine start, which I'm like, oh, I miss this.
Yeah,
My
that's
first car was
for
diesel.
you. You took a vehicle maybe necessarily you didn't want for a period of time. Not that you didn't want it. The wrong, I guess,
it was
engine platform choice.
There was a few features, yes, it didn't have that it would have liked. Like, I mean, parking sensors was just a thing.
Well, that was a COVID thing.
Totally, and that's when I'm like, whatever, like shit happens. And sure, I would have loved to do. I still really liked my Tahoe, but not as much as I love the Suburban.
Yeah.
Because this is obviously, you know, a couple more bells and whistles than Tahoe did.
Plus an extra almost 3 feet of cargo
Is it actually
space.
3 feet?
It's almost.
I always joke it's like 18 inches, but
Typical man doesn't know how many inches are inches. But yeah.
No, but usually meant over. So if that's the case, I wouldn't say it's 4 feet.
Yeah.
I'm under.
You're undercompensating.
I had the mirror or the magnifying glass flipped the wrong way.
Yeah. Yeah, and like
But-
these are all cool things.
Absolutely.
I don't know what I'm saying, but it's just like, yeah, it's great. Like, enjoy. And this is where I really want to bring the joy back of buying a car, because every car I know I'm sort of not regular. I think I'm at 22 cars since I was 16, which is kind of crazy. Side note,
That's a lot.
I didn't get bought a car. My first car was $250 in 1995, and it didn't work. And I used the extra bit of money I had to fix it, and then sold it for more money, then bought a car that worked.
Right.
And then I was able, with the little bit of profit I made, to buy car insurance. You know, and I was very fortunate. My parents helped me with my gas and stuff as a teen, but I was also like working for it.
Yeah,
So, and I had a
as
job
you
and
do.
all that. And so at first I was always buying a pre-owned car to get to the next car.
Yeah.
But I loved every car. I still love my first car. I love the car I have right now. I don't think there's one I've had that I didn't love in some way, shape, or form.
Yeah.
And I've had literally like cars from the 70s and then, you know, performance Cadillac sedans. So I've had it all, and they all serve a different purpose. And you should hopefully enjoy your car.
Yeah. There's one I can say I didn't love, but it was practical and it needed to happen. So
Yeah.
and
And
sometimes
that-
you need to do that, right?
It's okay to don't buy a car because of what someone else thinks. Like, if you
Absolutely.
only need a commuter A to B, and that is the car you need, and it's, you know, a entry level hatchback economy car, no performance, you know, but it still has all the safety features. Fabulous.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's great. Good. That's what you should get. If you want that other car and you can afford to have that other car, that's the performance sports car and whatever, also great.
Yeah.
But you shouldn't downplay someone else's vehicle. And I do.
100%.
That's a thing that I experience outside of work, is you'll hear people sort of poorly talk about other brands. And I'm like, every brand exists for a reason. And there's entry-level cars for a reason. And there's, you know, the upper class or whatever. In BMW world, it's called Grandin Klassen. So those cars exist for a different demographic of people.
Yeah.
And that demographic is very small.
Right.
You know, yeah, it was cool that person came in and bought a car that way. But, you know, the average person is just the average person.
Yeah.
And for me, I think coming from this sort of middle-of-the-ground background, I approach everybody the same.
Because you don't know. Just
Yeah,
because
you don't
someone's
know.
wearing like fancy shoes or a fancy jacket.
Yeah, that means nothing.
No,
just so you know.
they could be leveraged to the tits and not get anything approved.
Yeah.
So yeah, you're right. You don't assume.
You know,
Oh,
and like
yeah.
my partner is in construction, and let me tell you, he's filthy when he gets home from work, and so he's not wearing nice clothes.
Right.
When he takes his truck in for servicing, he's generally in his work clothes, and they're covered with sawdust, and he, you know, kind of looks like a vagabond. Like, so I'm like, could you dress a little nicer when you come into my work? He's like, I just got off a construction job site. I'm covered with dirt. Like, can I drop the truck off? Like, what do you want?
Exactly.
So within a very quick period of time, I learned to not look at a person and judge their appearance, because they might be here to buy a 1-ton truck that's
Totally.
$110,000, or, you know, in the flashiest flashy driver, or with the Louis Vuitton bag and all of that stuff, and, you know, they're here to buy a pre-owned car.
Yeah.
So it's just, I treat everyone the same.
Okay, I'm gonna switch over to my little lightning round. So it's,
lightning round. Oh,
it's just
okay.
this or that. So
Yeah.
whatever
Well,
comes
I'm good.
first
This
to
is
mind.
like Tiny Mike
I got a
Tuesday. I'm
couple.
ready.
Okay, dinner at a fancy restaurant or home cooked meal.
Dinner at a fancy restaurant.
Multiple short vacations in a year or one long vacation.
one long vacation.
Mexico or Hawaii?
Well, I've never been to Hawaii, so I'm going to say Hawaii this time. I'm no offense, Mexico. I'm over it. I'm done
Well,
it.
and everyone's just
And
got
I
different
love
preferences.
going there
Yeah.
and everything, but I'm ready for an adventure. Honestly, if side note on that lightning round, I want to go on like I want to go away. I want to go experience things. I don't want to, no more North America travel for me.
So like Europe or so. What's number one on your list right now to go?
Honestly, I really want to go to Japan.
Oh, okay.
There's very cool car culture there. My previous mentor, my previous career, Joseph, he was very integral in mastering your craft. And the Japanese culture is all about mastering your
Right.
craft. And so this is the journey I'm on right now, is mastering my craft in auto sales.
Okay.
And I think going to that location, Germany is on there too, mostly because I just love the German car brands.
Autobahn.
And I want to go to all the museums and everything. It's, again, though, they're very about mastering their craft, engineering. I want to go and experience the best because it just motivates me to be my best.
I mean, the next two are actually kind of along that
Oh, let's go.
travel. It's Spain or Portugal.
Oh, probably Portugal.
Okay. Australia or New Zealand?
Australia. My dad is Australian, so I'm
Oh,
going to
okay,
go
do
with
that.
Australia.
There we go. I've had this like calling for Australia for a while, but I got Thailand's my next big one. Elle and I are going in March.
Ooh, very nice.
Vancouver, Victoria.
Vancouver.
Yeah. It's a bigger
I
city.
love my... I think for me now, I spent so much time there with hair.
Yeah.
And so many of my really, really good friends still live there. I just love going to the city.
Early riser or sleep in?
20-year-old me was asleep in. Now I am an early riser.
By the way, you're failing at lightning round.
I know.
It's one answer, one word answer.
Sorry, early riser. Edit.
Yeah. Audiobooks or real books?
Audiobooks.
Bank or credit union?
I am credit union.
Dog or cat?
Both.
Yeah. Live music or like a theater play?
Theater play.
Yeah. Going out to the theater or watching a movie at home?
Like a movie theater?
Yeah.
I'd rather watch a movie at home.
Okay. These are not specifically just one word answers, but favorite type of music?
Definitely like retro 90s
Okay.
techno
Yeah.
dance music.
Love it.
Sorry, everyone.
Favorite time of year?
Summer, 100%.
There we go.
It's so cold.
It's getting a little brisk. So I'm leaving next week. Okay, I just got some kind of final thoughts to wrap the podcast
Yeah.
up. How do you handle work-life balance and self-care as an entrepreneur?
So right now, I'm definitely not doing the best job of having work-life balance because at first, when you start something, you have to put everything into work. And that's okay.
Yeah.
You've got to learn to find your sort of breaking points, and I've been really trying to do that on Sundays for me. Just FYI, in auto sales, it's a fun industry. You'll never have 2 days off together for the rest of your career life.
I don't know what that is either, so it's
So for me, it's okay now. I think 20-year-old me would have a really hard time with that because it was about going out with my friends. But
Right.
right now,
work to
it's
play
like
at that
me coming home, spending time with, our dog and the cat. We're doing house renos and spending time with my partner. I love it. But I'm immersed in work. I love my industry, and I know that the first 3 to 5 years, it's a lot of work.
Yeah.
And you've got to dedicate all of your free time to it because the rewards that come will allow you to have whatever you want at the end. I had that in my other career where I could take a month off work and it wasn't a big deal.
Right.
But I did that for 20 years.
Yeah.
And previous to the pandemic, I was living a little bit larger. And it was a nice reality check for me to go, oh, right, I need to maybe not
Bring
just
some of that in.
frivolously spend all my money. But also, I enjoyed it. I had a really good work-life balance, and I'm on my way back to restoring that.
Good.
But take time for yourself. For me, definitely skincare. I still like the beauty care stuff. For me, I love doing a spa me night. for myself, and I'll put music on and put lighting on in my bathroom
Nice.
and do masks and bleach
Yeah.
my teeth and do all the things that aren't pretty, but you do it
No.
alone in your bathroom, and
Totally.
I enjoy it.
Well, I think that's it with when you are an entrepreneur. It's you don't have a 9 to 5, Monday to Friday. You don't necessarily have those set days off, and sometimes you might even have a day off, and you still got to go in, or you still got to pull out the computer. Or I mean, literally because at the time of recording this, we have drag bingo tonight. Literally last night at 9:30 at night, I had the cutting board out, and I was cutting up bingo cards for tonight. So
Yeah.
but to me, that was, it's kind of mind numbing because I've got most of it. I just, have my system and throw a show on the TV and whatnot. Or, as next week, I'm going to Arizona to chill out for a bit. So that's to me, it's not just a cut and dry type thing that you get.
No. Like, editing social media, like, I recorded that video at work, but I didn't spend 3 hours editing it at work because that's not what work is for. So you got to know that you're going to be spending time doing all those things
Absolutely.
after hours or on your own time.
How about any tips or strategies for building resilience and perseverance in the face of adversity?
Try your best not to take on someone else's opinion, because what someone thinks of you isn't what you think of you. That's their issue.
Yeah.
It's often, I've learned, my pearls of wisdom, they're projecting something they don't like about themselves onto you because they see you not having an issue with that thing.
Right.
So
That's good.
it is trust and believe. It is not always easy to do.
No, it's definitely not.
But it's okay. Or ask for help. Like, it's okay to ask someone. If you say I need your help, it's like someone is 75% more likely to help you than if you say, can you do this for me?
Right.
Say, I need help. I need you to help me, please.
Right.
Or, and it's tricky. It is definitely a tricky thing to navigate, especially when it's a customer-based thing.
Right.
I think it's getting better. I feel like it's getting better.
Yeah.
I've also just learned to be like
What off a
you
duck's
gotta
back, as they say?
roll with the punches. But
Yeah.
there are moments. I have low moments. I've called you before, having a low moment, and I'm like, oh my god, I've made a mistake, and I don't know what to do. And it's your own self-doubt. Try not to have self-doubt. Believe in yourself, and don't let anyone dim your light.
Well, I think it's important to have those people that, like you and most people in my life, if you're calling, you something's wrong or you need something. So it's like, I need to pick up. Because there's,
Yeah, I don't generally
when
call.
my mom calls or someone like that, like they usually just call. So it's not typically urgent. Sometimes I'm like, is this urgent? Because you're in the middle of something. But there's a lot of people in my life, and you being one, who it's like, if you're calling, there's something that needs to be talked about. It's not just a quick text.
No, or an opportunity.
Or yes.
But mostly
something that's
it's
a
drama.
bit more times.
Mostly it's my personal drama.
But I do like what you said there about that, like, ask for help, because you're kind of approaching someone in like almost a bit of a place of weakness, but to them it's like you're saying that they have something that you need, but not in a way that's like, give this to me. It's like, please, like, help.
Yeah,
and so
please help me.
I like that.
It's okay, and people will stand up for you.
Absolutely.
In a public place. Like, this is a side note out of work. If someone says something to you, go to the closest thing that feels safe to you.
Right.
And if there's nothing around, there's usually another person around, and they will probably help you.
Yeah. How many favorite books or podcasts that have inspired you on your entrepreneurial journey?
Well, so part of my entrepreneurial journey, I've learned that I have ADHD. So all my learning disorders were not those. So I haven't actually read a book for a very long time.
We audiobooks.
Sure. There are some sales trainers I really enjoy following. Like Ryan, it's like Ryan Zerhan. He's like on, $1 million listing. He has a really good podcast about communication.
Okay.
I like him. There's another. Of course, I'm drawing a blank. There's a couple of people on TikTok that I really enjoy following, and it's about building your brand. But honestly, go find someone in the industry you're in and see what they're doing and copy them.
Yeah.
Because that's
Doing
all
well.
it is. When I was an education coach with Shogun and Click, it was never like, I'm better than you because I know all these things. It was, I know something that maybe you don't know, and I'm going to let you know,
Yep.
and then please go tell someone else. Because let's elevate our whole industry as a
Yep.
whole. And this is what I'm finding in this auto industry. It's also a thing.
Totally.
You know, if I go into a training, I'm going into going, these people are here to tell me the information that I don't know. Sometimes I know it all because I'm a keener and I watch it all on YouTube. But, you know, I learn something new every single day from every person I work with
Yeah.
about everything, whether it's a business office or a manager, or because everyone that's already done it, they've experienced a thing. But also, you bring something to the table because you're there for a reason.
Right. That literally was, I mean, my last question was advice for entrepreneurs, but I feel like you just answered it really well.
Oh,
You
yeah.
beat me to it.
You know that there's going to be hurdles. Know there's going to be
course,
roadblocks. How you deal with those roadblocks is really how it affects you. And also, the worst thing that's going to happen is you're saying no.
It's true.
That's it.
Yeah.
And then at least you know, and you can just move on.
Exactly.
Like, all right, cool. You don't want this? Great. See you later.
Peace.
You know, thank you. Thank
Yeah.
you for your time. See you later.
Yeah.
You know, obviously it's not quite polite, but like basically at the end of the day, try not to dwell on the no's and only focus on the yes. And when my previous career advanced, when I got to go to Fashion Week and I was working backstage and working with models and celebrities, you know, A, B, and D list, they're all just normal people.
Totally.
And we've created this illusion that they're
Mhm.
somehow more important than us. And then being backstage and working with that person, and you're like, oh, you're just a nice, normal person, just like you and me. And we're all back here promoting a product or putting a brand together
Yeah.
or building our own platform. You know, it's just work together.
Right.
And know that what you're seeing on social media, it's a lot of work. Like, there's going to be a whole
God.
editing, you know, thing of this, and hopefully some filters. Just kidding. But it's, yeah, just like go for it. Just be ridiculous. And all the people, I like to say, my favorite thing to say is, haters are just jealous fans.
Yeah.
And if
Absolutely.
someone's hating on your content, well, you know, they're still watching.
Exactly.
And they're still following, and there's still engagement. So engagement is engagement. Cardi B pretty much said it best. She thanked her haters for downloading her music, and she still won a Grammy.
Exactly.
So good for her.
Well, and I mean, Elle and I had basically the same discussion when we had our chat, because, you know, sometimes we get protesters at our events, and I'm like, it often brings more media to it. And the unfortunate part obviously is people don't always feel safe at it, but there is a lot of but then people also come out because of it. So there is a tiny, you know, a little bit of silver lining in all that chaos of that. But, and I guess maybe that's part of kind of what you're going to do is see the good part. You know,
See the good part.
There is a lot of bad before you get to good when you're an entrepreneur. Well, thank you so much for being here. I
Thank
appreciate
you.
it. It's always fun to have a friend on, and especially when you're kind of kicking the podcast off. It's definitely friendly audience for being a host and helping to grow Queerprenuers Unleashed.
Yeah,
so.
I love being here. I'm sure somewhere it'll be all contact information links for me.
Yes.
If you have questions about going into this world, not necessarily sales, but the auto industry or the beauty industry, you know, I was an education coach for 10 years. So I have guidance for you. You know, if you want to go in, be a tech, just be a tech. So follow what your passion is. You will always be successful, no matter what. If you love what you're doing, you'll be successful no matter what.
I think that's a perfect way to wrap up the podcast.
Oh, thanks.
So
Thank
you
so much for having me.
Appreciate it. And thanks so much for tuning in for another episode of Queerprenuers Unleashed. I'm your host, Dustyn Baulkham, and thanks so much for Coleman Patterson for being here.
Yeah, please have me back in the future, and we'll go over other topics.
Beautiful. Can't look forward to it.
Thanks.
Perfect.